Joshua the king came down and bore it all. Yeah, conversations front of the fireplace. All of my mistakes, how do I erase? Wanna operate at a higher pace. Birth pains causing the body to dilate. On a first name basis with the worst pain facing. Moments in isolation. See, I was hoping I would do this to get more family time. A busy mind and worried heart, is this not where I reside? I subscribed that all that traveling wasn't doing well for my soul. Glad I never made it when my name went through the rumor mill. I suppose that the Lord knows I'd have failed. Instead I'm doing well at home, out my shell. Good book off the shelf, more dubs off the L's. I told Ray they ain't just gon' know us, they gon' know us well. Happy to have failed my way to success. With my family by my side, Lord knows what's next. Joshua the king came down and bore it all. I know a few things, never claimed to know it all. But I know what's off, never noticed y'all. Hit a protocol, need an overhaul. Need an overhaul, I need an overhaul. Need an overhaul, we need an overhaul. Joshua the king came down and bore it all. Conversation in front of the fireplace. I know a few things, never claimed to know it all. Conversations in front of the fireplace. Joshua the king came down and bore it all. Conversations in front of the fireplace. I know a few things, never claimed to know it all. Conversations in front of the fireplace. All that drama and hysteria should die down. If there's nothing nice to say, then baby, pipe down. Life is too short to try and pay the price now. I was walking on water and then I wiped out. So this is for the restoration of every family member that's estranged. I know you're facing the same asymptomatic patient, different virus. Hard to tell somebody they sick when they only deny it. And you confide in something personal, but they think you lying. With friends like these who need enemies, I wish I was lying. Nevertheless, I wanna be more and you less trying. Until the Lord comes back and takes his people back to Zion. Yeah. Joshua the king came down and bore it all. I know a few things, never claimed to know it all. But I know what's off, never noticed y'all. Hit a protocol, need an overhaul. Need an overhaul, I need an overhaul. Need an overhaul, we need an overhaul. Joshua the king came down and bore it all. Conversations in front of the fireplace. I know a few things, never claimed to know it all. Conversations in front of the fireplace. Joshua the king came down and bore it all. Conversations in front of the fireplace. I know a few things, never claimed to know it all.
We are live! Hey yo, before you come in, take your shoes off. Get your super chats ready. Your questions are getting answered live. But first, shout out to the patrons and the channel members. Check it out, never miss the after party again. Sign up right now on Patreon for as little as $5 a month and access every replay. Put it in the budget. I'm telling you, we are essential. Y'all already know what time it is. Welcome to the after party with Ruslan.
Ruslan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. And of course, we got Mello, my man. And he's wearing shoes today. Zach Sparazzo.
I wear shoes for the winter. You gotta cover up the piggies. You know what I'm saying? You gotta cover up the little toes.
You gotta cover up the piggies, you know?
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, let us know where you're watching this from right now. Tap in with your location. Drop your location in the chat. We would appreciate that. My hair looking a little crazy. Everybody's trying to fix their hair. Zach got his hair out too, man.
I got my hair out. I think this is my first time on the stream with my hair out.
We got a lot luscious locks.
I cut it myself.
He cut his hair himself. All right.
Cut it myself.
Hey guys, if you're here live, let us know. Let us know where you're watching this from. We gotta adjust that. Our hair.
What? Oh, my angle.
Yeah, your angle. My angle.
I mean, I'll just scoot, I guess. Oh, you're tapping?
Yeah, just a tad bit.
That camera never moves. There you go.
There we go. All right, the Netherlands is in the house. Germany is in the house. See, this is why I like doing these earlier streams. Fresh cut Germany, France.
I know. Yeah, you get all the
international people, man. Shout out to you guys. Let's see. Someone just dropped us with a super chat. Appreciate you on a super chat. What's up with my mouse? There we go. All right, super chat. I appreciate the way the situation has been handled. I love the utmost respect for churches who uphold accountability and people who are in positions of leadership who submit to that accountability. I'd agree. I think we've grown so accustomed to being cynical and being like just such a negative view of church that it is refreshing. You know what I mean? It is refreshing, but because so many people have had negative experiences, there's like a unreal amount of skepticism with all this. And so hopefully, nothing else comes out. And
I think it's just going to be like that.
You think it's just
everyone's always going to be skeptical.
Okay, tell me why.
Internet.
What about the internet?
People are just beefing with it. Like, people have opinions. And people are a lot less generous and charitable with their opinions than they are in person. Yeah,
that's interesting. Do you think? I would be so curious to see like the people who are hypercritical of Matt. Like, did they have any skeletons in their closet?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's my thing. Is that like, I mean, even ever. Right?
Yep.
At any point in your life.
Yeah.
Did you ever, even if it was already been dealt with, to be like, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting if this is all that there was to it, like the reality of how, because I don't want to minimize anyone's church hurt. Like, I think there's people legitimately who have church hurt. This man rolled his eyes.
Just kidding.
Chill. Zach Sparazzo rolled his eyes.
I'm joking.
I think there are people who legitimately have church hurt.
Yep.
And people who see a Matt Chandler.
Yep.
And it fits their avatar.
Yes.
Of who hurt them.
Who hurt you.
Who hurt you.
Yeah.
And it sucks because a lot of people could fall into that avatar. Communicator, tall.
Yep.
Like there's definitely an avatar to
Tony
it.
Robbins.
Right? And so then you go through life with this bizarre bias of anyone that fits that avatar, skeptical. We had folks, when we were on that Israel trip, and Pastor Mike Signorelli was with us, right? Pastor Mike Signorelli, been on the channel. Pastor's the fastest growing church in America, and it's in New York City.
He's famous.
Okay? He's not famous. He's not like a celebrity pastor, but he pastors a massive church.
Yeah.
And there was someone on the trip with us that was in ministry that pulled him to the side and was like, I just want you to know that I've had a hard time with lead pastors, and that this trip interacting with you has broken that.
Wow.
Because you being totally opposite of how I would assume a lead pastor would act.
Wow. So people really assume that the lead pastor should be X, Y, and Z. And when he acts how they should act, then it's like, wow, you completely changed my view on pastors.
Yep. And so it was like him and Jeff Moores, and Pastor Jeff Moores also has a fairly big church.
Yeah.
And it's not like they were out there like trying to pastor everyone, right? They were just there's a couple other lead pastors on the trip with us, but it was interesting how folks in ministry have this hurt and this view of like white cisgendered man, you know what I mean? Like I'm using air quotes, okay? And that then taints their view of interacting with anyone that fits a similar avatar.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's really sad.
That's like the enemy, dude. That's like full on like a psychosis that happens in how you perceive certain people. And then when something seemingly is or just like, how about just limiting you to the type of church you could ever attend? You know?
100%.
Right?
Yeah. It's interesting, like how much of that is the person's responsibility to like figure out your ish. You know what I'm saying? And then also the fact that there's like how much of it is too high of an expectation for pastors? Because it seems like if that's what pastors are like, you know what I'm saying? I've had some iffy experiences with pastors, right? Or not like us having a beef, but just hearing how they're speaking about the congregation. I'm like, oh. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Right? And so I guess there is that difference. I can draw the difference between like this person is gracious and charitable towards their people and caring and pastoring versus someone that's like talking down upon. But how do you avoid that if you work in ministry?
Oh, no, man.
Like, don't you feel like, and I could be wrong, but like everyone's human. So don't you feel like if you're working with I'm not going to say Mike Signorelli, but like let's assume like a friend, right? You're going to have conflict, and then you might not like how someone operates. It's like pulling back the curtain, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like eventually you're still gonna see, even if it's not like the pastor is being horrible, you're still gonna have some sort of level of like skepticism or just like hurt or feeling overwhelmed when you go to church in general because church previously has only been work.
Oh well, yeah,
know?
well, yeah. Especially if you were in ministry.
Yeah, I'm talking about like in ministry.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. So, shout out to Dean. I know Dean probably disagrees with me a little bit on this. Dean said, I think the Acts 29 angle is a part of it too. A lot of Matt's hypercritics come from people who were hurt in the Acts 29 world. Yes. But listen, Linda, listen. I'm not poking on you, but I feel like this is what I feel like. I feel like, and there's other stuff. I could point to other stuff. There was a church camp where, you know, some weird stuff happened with a leader, and like the church came out and had to own it, and like I think there was charges pressed on it, and like this whole thing, and Matt had to make a statement. That happened 5 years ago
At their church?
at Village Church. So like, but the question is like, dude, like this is gonna be a weird parallel. Okay, guys, just bear with me.
Get the PR team on. We'll cut
yeah,
this.
we might have to cut this out. It's like people that point to vaccine injury and then dismiss all vaccines ever,
Yes.
right? It's like, bruh, at 1 billion doses, there's going to be situations where people have adverse reactions, have dangerous things that happen to their body, right? And so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
When you scale that up for 1 billion people, there's probably going to be tens of thousands of people that happened to, right? And so, but then what you do is then your binary thinking goes, that means all church or all this is bad. And so all I'm saying is, when you're talking about touching hundreds of thousands of people,
Yeah.
hundreds, if not thousands of leaders, just on sheer volume, something's going to get mishandled. Someone's going to get hurt. Something is going to, and sometimes it may not be overtly. How many times have you hurt someone or I've hurt someone, and it's not even sinful? It's just like, just the personalities don't match.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, Cass has got different personalities, and some people like to be communicated a certain way. And you know what I mean? And it's like, that's not sin. That's just like, we're just different, bro.
We're just trying to figure it out.
You know, we're all just trying to figure out. And I'm not trying to minimize actual church hurt. I'm not trying to minimize actual church hurt. Please miss me with that. Because it's actual people that have, like, yo, I was molested by like fellow altar boys that were, 5 years older than me, 4 years older than me.
Yep.
Like, I have real, like, and the church didn't give a damn.
That is true.
You
that
know?
is church hurt.
And
for
so,
real.
like I understand those sorts of things happen, but to just dismiss it and discard it is not healthy. But it's also to say, hey, at some level, life is messy. People are messy. We're sinful, broken people, right? So what then? Like, you're just not gonna go to church?
Yep.
How about this? I'll fix it for you. How about this? How about you go find a church with a black head pastor? How about that?
I like that.
Right? He doesn't fit your avatar anymore.
Goes to TD Jakes.
Yeah, that's not an endorsement of TJ. Go find a church and go to a predominantly black church, which, by the way, white folks have trouble going to churches with black pastors. There's like a weird social dynamic. When you look at it, black folks will go, black folks are more likely to go to a church with a whitehead pastor. White folks, not so much. That's a whole nother can of worms, right?
The people that are like, well, it's just predominantly more of a black church.
Yeah.
When you actually look at the analytics, it's like 50-50, but they're used to like black people being like 10% of a church.
Right,
that they feel like it's a black church because it's 50-50.
Yeah. Shout out to Dean. I'm seeing you, Dean. He says, I'm not necessarily they're right. I'm not saying they're right necessarily. I just think it's a part of it. Also, I agree with the vast majority of your take on this. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, and I thought your take was fine too. I thought it was reasonable. I think it's a jealousy of people's success that drives that aggression. Totally. And listen. There's a lot of great churches with black pastors, with Hispanic pastors, with pastors that don't have big personalities, with pastors that aren't super charismatic, right? There's all kinds of options nowadays. I would just encourage you to go to church. Like, just go be in a church.
Yep.
I think that's who people who are critical of this, that's the message they need. Don't give up on the church. You at your lowest, at your most broken, at your most sinful state, Jesus didn't give up on you. Don't give up on his bride.
Yeah. It's completely, it definitely neglects, it seems like it neglects all of the the benefits of going to church. But I mean, once you start missing a few Sundays, you get that extra time in the weekend. You're like, ooh.
I can sleep in.
Yeah, it's just like, I can work on a project. I forgot. I'm on a coffee date with my wife.
Yeah. He said, I highly recommend this. My wife and I, with our 5 little children, are white and attend a predominantly black church with a black pastor. It's life-changing for my wife and kids. I grew up like that. Yeah. I grew up going to both. So I actually kind of think about it. So obviously I went to Armenian Apostolic, and then the first folks that shared the gospel with me was like a Black Baptist church. And then I went to a church where the pastor was black and his wife was white.
Nice.
And now I go to a church where my pastor's white and his wife is black. So I've kind of always gone to.
And now your wife is black.
And now my wife, who would have thunk? Who would have thunk?
He was influenced by church leadership.
I was influenced by my church leadership. My family was the only white family at a black church by our house for quite a few years. That's dope, man. Yeah. I don't care. Hold on, someone. But who introduced you to the black church? Black folks? I don't understand the question.
The lady that went to jail.
Yeah, the lady that went to jail, Cherie, and then the girl that I was dating in high school is who got me going to New Venture. It's a mistake not having breakfast before you go to a black church. Yo, that's. By the way, I'm not talking like 4-hour services necessarily.
Yeah.
Some of y'all are on that. Respect.
You gotta find a. You're saying you gotta find a black church that.
Here's some
meet somewhere in the middle.
Yes, here's a great church. Great big shout out. My buddy Pastor Jules in the Bay Area has a church, and it's a fire church. He's preached at Rhythm Church. His name's Pastor Jules. If you just Google Pastor Jules Oakland, I think they're in Oakland Church, you'll find him. I don't remember the name of the church. Some of you guys have actually came. I've recommended them. Jules is black. He's hilarious. He's one of the funniest communicators I've said. And it's not a mega church with thousands of people. I think they get a couple hundred people. Dope church. And black churches definitely have better music. Let's just keep it a buck. Oh, 100%. We're not debating. That is out of question to even debate that. This man, said black church got better music, white church better doctrine. You know where I want to go?
Whoa.
I don't know. I can't speak to generalities like that because I haven't been to enough. But you know where I want to go? I feel like there's this emergence of solid biblical churches that are diverse. And I think of like Pastor Dr. Eric Mason's church in Epiphany. So I feel like there's quite a few churches that are theologically sound that, may have a black head pastor. Epiphany in Brooklyn.
A few.
I mean, like a few that I'm around and I've been friends with. That's what I mean.
Okay, that makes sense.
That I'm around, that I've been friends with, that I've interacted with. There's
I'm offended. John Adams says.
No. My buddy Shobaraka has a church plant of what is the church called?
Blue, something with the blue word.
Blueprint. So Show his brother has the main campus. They just I think are planning a second campus in the Atlanta area. Small church. From what I remember, when I went to the main campus, the music was lit and the doctrine was lit. So I think that could be kind of a false binary, in my opinion. Yeah, come to Philly, visit Epiphany. Yeah, Epiphany. I watch Epiphany online sometimes, and I feel like Pastor Eric Mason gets down. What about churches in Anaheim or LA? Need a church home? Churches in Anaheim or LA?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Fearless. That's where the professor goes, right in downtown LA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm not.
My sister works at East Side.
Oh yeah,
She's been
East
working
Side.
there for 10+ years.
Yeah, East Side. I don't remember East Side, but from what I remember, it was solid. Like
yeah. I don't really know. I just know my sister works there for like 10 years. So.
Yeah.
And she's cool, so I would assume.
Yeah.
East Side's huge.
East Side's a big church.
Yeah.
East Side's a big church, but there's so I know Fearless in downtown. I know there's other ones. I'm just drawing a blank right now because I feel like I got a lot of pastor friends in that area. But there's a lot of good churches. There's a lot of good churches. I don't think you just need to ask around, really. Like y'all just need to ask around, like where y'all go to church. My wife and I are a mixed couple, and both of us have fallen out of love with gospel music. Runs and stuff just rub us the wrong way personally. Chill, Kobe.
Wow.
No, bruh.
They rub us the wrong way.
I rebuke that.
This man deconstructed from gospel music.
I rebuke that in the name of Fred Hammond. What are we talking about?
This man deconstructed from Kirk Franklin.
How you deconstruct gospel music? That's like, listen. Okay, I'm a quick rant, and then we got to go into this other story. Oh, you got to leave in a second.
I got to leave.
Quick rant. All of our modern music, everything, with the caveat of classical, originates from black gospel music.
Oh, here we go.
Everything originates from black gospel music.
Tupac
is hip hop. Hip hop comes out of disco and Jamaican music. You know what I'm saying?
Punk rock.
And so punk rock, the 4/4 beat count comes out of rock, which comes out of blues, which comes out of gospel music. Everything
Heavy metal.
Heavy metal comes out of rock, which comes out of blues, which comes out of gospel music. Everything.
Spoken word.
Who?
Spoken word.
Spoken word is not music.
It's just like it's close. Oh, classical.
Well, I said everything except classical. But classical is not like a genre. Jazz music, rap music, pop music. It all comes from gospel, black gospel music.
Ain't.
You know what I mean?
Everything we enjoy.
So everything you enjoy comes from black gospel music. White church, better doctrine, just because the communication of doctrine is different doesn't mean bad. Come on. Don't throw up that false binary. Yeah, absolutely. I actually understand what the person is saying. When you experience the presence of God during a simple worship song, runs can ruin a lot. Yeah, I guess so. Let's not. We're not doing any gospel slander. Okay, guys, this is crazy story that I got to read to you guys, okay? This blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what to think of it. CP doubling down. CP, you got to chill. Okay, real quick. Before we do that, I got to make sure you guys know I have a song coming out December 16th. I think you guys are going to like it. I think you guys are going to love it. And I want to show you a preview so that you go to RuslanToTheMoon.com and pre-save it. So check this out real quick, and then we're going to come back with this crazy story about Jesus being trans. It's nuts, but check this out. You may not know I make music, but I got a new song coming out. And it's something I need you to do, but first, I want you to hear a snippet of the song.
I went from being a porn addict to sharing the gospel with a porn actress who was criticized for being low status by the same OnlyFans who treat us so lavish. I'm confused.
I swear y'all thought he did doing podcasts, hot takes. He still can rap.
Now, in order to get this song to the top of Spotify, I need your help. I need you to click the link below or go to RuslanToTheMoon.com and pre-save this song. What is a pre-save? It means that this song will be added to your library to remind you to listen to it the day it comes out. And it also tells Spotify's algorithm that millions of people need to hear this song. So help me promote Christian music that contextualizes the gospel and will help change lives by going to RuslanToTheMoon.com or clicking the link below.
Oh, they got me with the dramatics. You knew that a moment cannot be static too soon.
Ruslan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Appreciate everybody. If you're just tuning in, drop your location. Let me know where you're watching this from. We're doing an early stream. We may do another stream. We got a guest coming in later that's doing a little mini doc series on me. Yeah, Tony Evans, another great pastor. Absolutely. Okay, you guys ready for one of the wildest stories? Okay, shout out to the UK because this is directly relevant to the UK. This blew my mind. Okay, so the latest from a UK Anglican church, Jesus could have been trans. Bruh. Okay. This is when being open-minded just goes wrong. This is when you're so open-minded that your brain falls out. Okay? This is not so. Okay? This is yeah. Okay, Zach's getting back into my shot because he forgot his stinking glasses. He's in a button-up shirt, by the way, guys. He looks great. Okay. Let me change camera angles here. All right, so let's check this out. All right, so this is from My Christian Daily, but I saw it going viral all over, and so I'll just fill you guys in real quick. Okay, so check this out. Check this out. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see the article with me. Can you guys all see that? Yeah? Okay, so this is documented. This isn't hearsay. This isn't a rumor. This isn't like the caddy litter thing. You guys know the caddy litter thing where, like, kids are identifying as animals and they have caddy litter. This isn't that, okay? Which, by the way, there's no caddy litter in bathrooms. All the conservative outrage. This is legitimate, okay? This is legitimate. We have had it all before. Of course, Jesus the Marxist, Jesus the Muslim, because Jesus was Palestinian, or from the Roman Palestine region. When it was named Palestine is up for debate. After the life of Jesus, before the life of Jesus, we don't know. I tend to think it was named after that. Jesus I'm not going to say that. Jesus the hippie, Jesus the socialist, Jesus the greenie. The list never ends. And it was only a matter of time before the unhinged secular left and the apostate clerics and academics would assure us that Jesus could have well been trans. In this case, it comes from the Anglican Church in the UK. What's going on in the UK, man? UK, tap in, man. Tell me what's going on. As I've often documented, I think this is written by Dr. Michael Brown, there have been many problems with these folks over there, so I guess we should not be surprised by this latest bit of outrage, theological moon battery. One News Reports, so that's the source on this, One News Reports tells the story. Jesus could have been a transgender. According to the University of Cambridge Dean, Dr. Michael Banner, the Dean of Trinity College, said such views was legitimate after a row over a sermon by a Cambridge research student that claimed that Christ had a trans body. The Telegraph can disclose. So this is a student that made this claim, and this gentleman, the dean, indirectly co-signed it. Okay, indirectly co-signed it. The truly shocking address at last Sunday's Evensong at Trinity College Chapel saw Joshua Heath, a junior research fellow, display Renaissance and medieval paintings of the crucifixion that depicted a side wound that the guest preacher likened to a vagina. What are y'all doing? What is happening? Worshippers told the Telegraph they were left in tears and felt excluded from the church, with one shouting heresy at the dean upon leaving. The sermon displayed 3 paintings, including, I'm not going to say his name, 1,400 work old, blood following to the groin, the orders of service, and showed French artist Henry's 1990 work Christ. Heath, whose PhD was supervised by the former Archbishop of Canterbury, also told newspapers in Prayer Book of Wound from the 14th century, this side wound was isolated and takes on a decently vaginal appearance. Yo, this is loony talk, yo. Heath also drew on non-erotic depictions of Christ's penis in historical art, which urges welcoming rather than hostile response towards the raised voices of trans people. In Christ's simultaneously masculine and feminine body in these works, if the body of Christ that these works suggest a body of all bodies, then his body is also the trans body. Why? Like, why does everything have to escalate to now we're going to, like, take Christian art and do weird stuff? Why can't, like, okay, listen, clearly people with body dysmorphia exist. Clearly trans folks exist. Okay, fine. Why do we then need to take that and project that onto scripture or project that onto ancient art? What's the point? What's the point? It really seems like there, and I hate this word. I hate this word. It really seems like there is an agenda to perverse what we know to be of God, the scriptures, and church history. For no other reason than to try and normalize this sort of stuff as much as possible. A congregation member who wished to remain anonymous told Dr. Banner in a complaint letter, I left the service in tears. You offered to speak with me afterwards, but I was too distressed. I am contemptuous of the idea that by cutting a hole in a man, this is reasonable. By cutting a hole in a man that which he can be penetrated, he can become a woman. That's the logic. I am especially contemptuous of such imagery when it is applied to our Lord from the pulpit at Eversong. I am contemptuous of the notion that we should be invited to contemplate the martyrdom of a trans Christ, a new heresy for our age. Before looking at this further, let me say that this is not, in fact, a first. Radicals have been making these sorts of blasphemous claims for years. Back in 2017, for example, a homosexual pastor and sexist, in seeking to oppose the transgender bathroom bill, said this: in the beginning, God created humankind in God's image. So God is transgender. We're all created in the images of what is holy and divine and sacred, and we all should be treated that way. Just a consistent distortion. He created the man and woman. That's it. Right? Of course, that is just idiotic and sacrilegious as to what Heath is trying to suggest. Indeed, the level of dishonesty here alone is enough to make you ill, even taking the word transgender. Okay. So I think, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I'm not the biggest fan of like outrage content. Okay. I don't think it's necessarily helpful. However, if this is your team, if your team, and I say this because I don't want to get the video demonetized, but when I say alphabet in place of that community. I'm saying it because it's like I can't say that so many times in video game monsters. But if that's your team, you should be outraged for stuff like this, because the people who are making a mockery of other people are the ones that are getting platformed in being polarizing and divisive and combative, right? Like, you should be upset about this sort of stuff because it does your community a disservice when this sort of stuff goes viral. It really does. Like, if this is your team, okay, be mad at this, right? Just like when some folks from the team came out with the maps thing, right? Minor attracted persons, right? You should be outraged about this because it takes something that you rep and you think is, God's okay with, and then it completely elevates it and distorts it and starts getting into realms that have nothing to do with scripture, nothing to do with just it's not even a logical, coherent argument. It's literally talking about the side of where Jesus was pierced, and saying because he had a hole, that therefore he had something that resembled a vagina, fam?
That's goofy.
Guys, check your own. This is wild. This is wild, right? This is not helpful. This doesn't make that community look good. And this if you don't want there to be quote unquote transphobia in the church, then y'all need to check this. Okay? Because this is asking for, this is begging for, like, yo, you're nuts. So this is so sad. This is so sad. And the fact that, like, there were folks in here that, like, didn't agree with this. There were folks in here that called it out, that yelled heresy, as they should. As they should. Right? This is next level goofy, next level Looney Tunes, goof troop nonsense. And look, like, check your own. That's the macro message. Okay, when Christians wild out, when folks do goofy stuff, when folks do wild stuff in the name of Jesus, I think it's good, appropriate, and necessary to call that stuff out. Okay, and so if you see your community poking, I don't care if it's academia, I don't care who it is, call this stuff out. I don't even know if there's folks watching this stuff, but I think it'll ease some of the tensions between these communities in a dialogue. If people really even care about dialogue, right? Like I think there's a time and a place to say, look, I think every person should be treated with dignity and respect. That doesn't mean I have to affirm everything that every person does, right? We should agree on that. Right? Like, we should agree on it. Like, we should ask Christians, we say, everyone, including this community, including the alphabet community, right? Everyone should be treated with dignity and respect. Everyone should be respected as just an image bearer, even if they do things that I would argue are against basic human ethics and natural law, and against the scriptures and the God that I serve. We should be able to have these sorts of conversations and not be so charged up that people start being discarded and mistreated. However, that doesn't mean I have to affirm said activity, right? That doesn't mean I have to affirm said activity. I could acknowledge and respect and say there's redeemable qualities around you, such and such and such, but it doesn't mean we got to affirm everything about said activity. And I think that's the part where acceptance, respect, and love has been conflated to the need to affirm. And I don't affirm anyone in my life, like 100%. I don't affirm anyone's behavior in my life 100%, right? And so, especially if we could use, a deontological ethics view of it. There's so many different ways we can have these discussions, but I think people are so sensitive to have these discussions. And so then folks get mad at Christians and saying, well, you don't really love them. You add an asterisk, and it's like, what? It's goofy. It's really a silly conversation. But again, y'all need to check this stuff. Yeah, like for real. Because I think there's time and a place where again, we should be extending dignity, love, and respect to everybody. Christians, non-Christians, alphabet, Muslims, everyone should have an extension of love and respect. Because if you're really about quote unquote tolerance and love and respect, then you should be tolerant with understanding that someone, has a different view, even if you disagree with the view, even if you disagree with said view, right? Like, even if you disagree with the said view, you should still be able to respect them as an image bearer and not say your words are violence and all this nonsensical stuff. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this, man. What do you guys think? I think this is straight goof troop nonsense. And I think it's intentionally trying to be provocative to poke, but I think it's doing the opposite of what they think it's going to do. Like, being intentionally provocative with something as sacred as Jesus's wounds, you're not going to get the response you want. You're going to get the opposite response. And I don't think that's what they're after, even though they're trying to get. I would hope you would want to represent your community well. So those are my thoughts on this, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this. We are probably going to be back a little later to chop it up about some other stuff. We may have a guest, so make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you hit that like button. And again, it would really mean the world to me if you guys all went to RuslanToTheMoon.com. We just cracked 700 pre-saves. That we have a song coming out next Friday that I think is some of my best work, and I think could potentially go off in the Spotify algorithm and ecosystem. So if you could please do me a solid and pre-save that. I'm going to play you guys the little sneak peek one more time, and then we'll be out of here, all right? Love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you later. Peace. You may not know I make music, but I got a new song coming out. And there's something I need you to do, but first, I want you to hear a snippet of the song.
I went from being a porn addict to sharing the gospel with a porn actress who was criticized for being low status by the same OnlyFans who treat us so lavish. I'm confused.
I swear y'all thought he did doing podcasts, hot takes. He still can rap.
Now, in order to get this song to the top of Spotify, I need your help. I need you to click the link below or go to RuslanToTheMoon.com and pre-save this song. What is a pre-save? It means that this song will be added to your library to remind you to listen to it the day it comes out. And it also tells Spotify's algorithm that millions of people need to hear this song. So help me promote Christian music that contextualizes the gospel and will help change lives by going to RuslanToTheMoon.com or clicking the link below. Oh, they got me with the dramatics. You know that a moment cannot be static too soon.
Ruslan